Hi guys, hi Sam, hi Laura, hi Anara, hi Manuel. Hope you're all well. Hi from everyone in my B1 Plus group. Okay, so what we have to look at now is what we're going to be looking at in today's lesson in this one video is that we're going to be looking at defining relative clauses and non-defining relative clauses. So I need you to open your books to page 68. So page 68, please. Okay. So I want you to look at the Explore Grammar box for a moment, and I'm going to go through with you defining relative clauses. So defining relative clauses, I want you to look at with defining relative clauses, they give us essential information. We can use who, which, when, where, whose, and that. So for example, the game encourages a creative approach which is rarely found in classes on the subject. Or she has classmates whose feelings are less positive. So that means they're talking about essential information. When we look at B, we can use that instead of who or which. So new approaches that allow students to learn to be more focused are useful. And then if C, we can leave out who, which, or that when they are the object of a verb. So for example, develops the confidence they need or which they need. Then we have non-defining relative clauses. They give out what is the extra or a non-essential information. So you need to look at D for this. We use commas to separate them from the main sentence. So for example, Alexander Jose, who is a teacher at the school, think this is just the start. In this game, comma, which is played in social science lessons, students focused on world politics. Okay, so they focus on world politics. So remember, we can't use that instead of who or which, and we can't leave out a relative pronoun. Reading the grammar box, I want you to look at, are the relative clauses in the sentences defining or non-defining? Okay, 3 minutes, pause the video and start it again when you're finished. Okay? Okay, so let's go through the answers for exercise 1. So for number 1, Nordal Gregg School, where Han studies, has about 800 students. Is that defining or a non-defining relative clause? The answer is non-defining, because if you look very carefully, there are commas which separate the sentence as well. 2, the guy that teaches physics loves video games. Is that defining or non-defining? The answer is defining. 3, Jacob, who goes to the school, is very happy. Is that defining or non-defining? It is non-defining. And finally, the day when we first played Portal was exciting. Is that defining or non-defining? The correct answer is defining. Okay, guys, I want you to look at activity 2. I want you to listen to a student talking about one of his teachers. How did Mr. Mill help him? Okay, so listen very carefully.
My favourite teacher? Oh, that's a difficult one. I'm not sure I've ever had a favourite, but there's one teacher who had a big influence on me at primary school. His name was Mr. Mill, and he taught me when I was, about 7. He was tall and bald, middle-aged I suppose, and I thought he was great. It was a time when I really hated writing. People were always laughing at my handwriting, which was very difficult to read, so that didn't help. And my older sister, who went to the same school, was famous for her writing. Well, famous for people at our school anyway. She'd even won a national prize for a story that she'd written. Some of the teachers who knew her expected me to have the same ability, and I didn't, so that got me down. But Mr. Mill gave me lots of encouragement, and let me write about things that really interested me. And it made all the difference. I had so much more confidence after the year I had in his class, and actually started to enjoy writing. And then, of course, my handwriting got better because I was practicing it more. And well, now I'm quite a good writer, I think.
Okay, So after listening to that, what do you think is the answer? How did Mr. Mill help him? Anyone? Any ideas? Well, the answer is Mr. Mill encouraged him and let him write about things that interested him, which is a very important value, may I add. I think that's a very good thing to remember. Okay, guys, activity 3. Okay, so activity 3. Now, match the sentence halves from the recording. So you can listen again, rewind the video and listen again. Rewrite them using a different relative pronoun. Sometimes no change is possible. Then you can listen again and check your answers. Okay? You have 3 minutes. Pause the video or rewind the video and listen again. Okay, let's go through the answers for activity 3. So, number 1, there's one teacher. Is the answer A, B, C, or D? The correct answer is A. So there's one teacher that had a big influence on me. Someone who's an influence is someone who helps you. I try and influence you to do well in your English. That is what I'm here for. Okay, number 2. It was a time what? ... Is it B, C, or D? The correct answer is C. When I really hated writing. I know some of you don't like writing because it's quite difficult, but when you go up levels, it gets it gets harder, okay? But I'll make it easier for you. 3. People were always laughing at my handwriting. Is it B or D? The answer is D, which was very difficult to read. And then finally, for number 4, she even won a national prize for a story which she had written or she'd written. Okay? All right. Now I want you to look at activity 5. So I want you to look at activity 5 for a moment, please. Okay, so activity 5. And this is an activity that I want you to submit your answers. Okay, I want you to submit your answers for this. Complete the article with the relative pronouns. Which gaps can have no relative pronouns? So I'm going to give you 5 minutes to read the text and complete the article with relative pronouns and which do not need a relative pronoun. So any that don't need a relative pronoun, which gaps can have no relative pronoun, you need to tell me that. So you need to submit your answers to my email, okay? All right, give you 5 minutes to do the text, pause the video and then come back. Okay, now that you're finished that, can I ask you to turn to page 152. So that's 152, which is the grammar pages in the back of your book, okay? I'm going to explain to you defining and non-defining relative clauses, and I'm going to tell you what your homework is, what you have to do, okay? You have a little bit of homework that you do have to complete. So, with defining relative clauses, we use a defining relative clause to specify which person, thing, animal, place, or time we mean. We use who for a person or people, which for things or animals, where for places, when for times, whose for possession. Okay, so that's when you need to remember which relative clause you need to use. We can use that instead of who or which. So for example, students who or that passed the exam can move up to the next class. The book which that he lent me, which or that he lent me, was really interesting. However, we can leave out who, which and that when there is an object in the verb. So when there are the object, when they are an object in the verb, not when there is the object. When they are an object, same difference. We can't leave them out when they are the subject of the verb. So object, we can leave them out. Subject, no. We can't leave out where, when, or whose. So the students, who or that she teaches, all enjoy her lessons. So the student, object, we can leave out the relative pronoun. But the teacher, who or that takes us for biology, is amazing. Teacher, subject, we can't leave out the relative pronoun. Okay, then we have, from that, we also have non-defining relative clauses, which add extra information about a person, thing, animal, place, or time. So we can use commas to separate the non-defining relative clause from the main clause. In non-defining relative clauses, we use who for people and which for things and animals. We can use that. So for example, the new timetable, which was introduced last year, is more flexible. So we can't omit the relative pronoun in non-defining relative clauses. So for example, Carla, who is a student at school, welcomes to the changes to the timetable. So we can't omit. So that means we can't remove it. Okay. All right. So with that in mind, in page 153, for your homework, and then you have to either take a photo or email your answers, I want you to complete number 1, 2, and 3 on defining and non-defining relative clauses, and answer your questions also for exercise 5 on page 68. Okay, that is the end of today's lesson. I hope you've enjoyed it. Any questions or you need more information, please ask me and please email me. Okay, so if there's any problems, let me know. All right. Well, good work today. B1 plus. See you soon. Bye.